I'm Abigail Hannaford-Ricardi, Children's Coordinator here at First Unitarian Church of Worcester. Now I have a story for you today, and it's a promise story based on our fifth principle, the blue color. Now I wonder, do you know why the bell is the symbol for our fifth principle or promise? Well, in the adult language, the principle reads, "The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large." That's a lot of big words. What does it mean anyway? Well, consciousness, the right of consciousness means that you have the right to listen to your own brain tell you what's right. It's you listening to your own conscious thought. And the democratic process is giving other people a chance and listening to them. So really, the entire fifth principle is about being a good listener. Here is our blue underlay, blue for the fifth promise or principle about listening to yourself and others. Now today's story is based on a book by Robert Wunsch called The Paper-Bag Princess. And here is our princess, Elizabeth. Now Elizabeth was very beautiful, and she always wore the finest, most expensive clothes. She always had her hair perfectly done up. She lived in a very grand, beautiful palace. And as a princess, Elizabeth was going to marry Ronald, because that's what was expected of her. Now, Ronald was also very handsome. He always wore very fine clothes, very elegant. "Hello, Elizabeth." "Hello, Ronald." Unfortunately for her, a fire-breathing dragon came. And he knocked down her castle. And he used his fiery breath to burn the entire castle. And then he took Ronald and flew away with him. Oh my goodness. Poor Elizabeth. Her clothes had been burned off. Her entire castle was burned and gone. And the only thing that she could find to wear that wasn't burned up was a paper bag. So Elizabeth cut holes in it for her arms and her head, and she put it on. And then she was quite determined to go and rescue Ronald. Well, it wasn't hard to follow the dragon, because wherever he went, he left trails of burnt trees and animal bones. So Elizabeth just followed the trail until she came to a cave. Now the cave had a door on it, and the door had a very fancy big knocker, so she walked right up to it and she knocked. And out popped the dragon. "Hello. Oh, a princess. I'm sorry. I do love to eat princesses, but I'm quite full. I've had a busy day, and you'll have to come back tomorrow." And he shut the door, just like that. Well, Elizabeth walked right back up to that door. She took that knocker and she knocked again. And out popped the dragon again. "Look, I'm very busy, dragon. I'm quite full. I just don't have room to eat a princess." And he was about to go back in when Elizabeth said, "Wait, is it true that you are the most fierce dragon in the land?" "Well, I don't like to brag or anything, but, well, yes, that is quite true." "And is it true that you can burn 5 forests with just one of your fiery breaths?" "Oh, yes, would you like me to show?" No, that's quite all right. I do believe you on that, but what I really don't believe is they say that you can fly around the entire Earth in 10 seconds. Now, I know that can't be true. Well, of course that's true. I'll show you. You just lie down and wait for me. So he jumped up into the air and he flew around the Earth and came right back in 5 seconds. Now, he was a little winded for that and didn't have much fire left. But he did it. And then Elizabeth said, "Oh, that was very good. Too bad you can't do it again, but you know, I mean, you're all out of breath now, so yeah, even you can't do everything." "Huh! How dare you? Of course I can do it again. You just lie down and wait for me." So she lay down and he jumped up and he flew around that Earth again and came back. This time it took him 20 seconds. He was exhausted. He didn't have any fiery breath left. Why, he couldn't have even cooked a little hamburger. He had no fire in him. In fact, he was so tired, he just fell down and went to sleep. Well, Elizabeth went up to him and she said, "Hey, dragon." Nothing happened. So she went a little bit closer and she leaned into his ear and she said loudly, "Hey, dragon." No, nothing happened. So she went right up to him and yelled as loud as she could, "Hey, dragon!" The dragon was exhausted. He wasn't going anywhere. So Elizabeth climbed right over that dragon, opened the door, and rescued Ronald. But when Ronald saw her, he said, "Elizabeth, what? Look at you. You're a mess. You're covered with ashes. Your hair's a rat's nest. You're wearing a paper bag. This is totally inappropriate. Come back when you look like a princess." And Elizabeth said, "Ronald, you look like a prince, but you are a bum." And she decided not to marry him after all. And now we have some time for some wondering questions. So I'm wondering why you think Elizabeth was ready to marry Ronald just because it was expected of her. And I wonder how she thought to ask the dragon those questions. I wonder what questions you would ask a dragon if you ever met one. I wonder if she was scared when she went to rescue her Ronald and to face the dragon who could breathe fire. I wonder if you've ever come to the rescue of a friend. See you next time. Bye.